Most people think Bruce Lee was a freak of nature, born with lightning in his veins, a photographic memory for movement, and a soul made of pure fire. You think he was special. You think he had something you don't. Wrong. Bruce Lee was a skinny kid in Hong Kong who got his head kicked in by street gangs. He wasn't born a master. He was programmed into one. You rely on motivation. You wait until you feel like it to hit the gym, open the book, or start the business. Motivation is a lie. It's a chemical spike that vanishes the moment you get tired. Bruce Lee didn't use motivation. He used a cognitive operating system that made failure impossible. I've reverse-engineered his entire daily protocol, diaries, training logs, and psychological frameworks. It comes down to 3 brutal chapters. By the end of this, you'll realize why your current routine is a joke, and you'll never approach hard work the same way again. Chapter 1. The Death of Choice. Your brain is a dopamine addict. Every morning you wake up and have a conversation with yourself. Should I run? Should I sleep? Maybe I'll do it at 5 p.m. You think having choices is freedom. It's actually a death sentence for your focus. Psychologists call this decision fatigue. Every time you decide to work, you burn cognitive fuel. By the time you actually start, your tank is empty. Bruce Lee eliminated choice. He had fixed training schedules that were non-negotiable. He didn't decide to train. He functioned like an algorithm. Cal Newport calls this deep work, but for Lee, it was deeper. It was a dopamine detox of the soul. He lived in a concrete box of his own making. No distractions, no fluff, just the task. While you're scrolling through TikTok waiting for inspiration, the elite have already finished. The University of California found that after one notification, it takes you 23 minutes to refocus. You get interrupted every 3 minutes. Do the math. You never actually focus. Bruce Lee's brain worked differently because he restored his attention span through scarcity. He didn't have 50 hobbies. He had one. He didn't read 100 books poorly. He mastered 3 until the pages fell out. Chapter 2. The Myelin Method. I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. You've heard the quote, you still don't get it. Most people practice horizontally. You try to learn everything at once. You want to be a coder, a designer, and a polyglot by Tuesday. You're trying to carry loose groceries in your arms. Experts practice vertically. This is the Pareto principle in action, the secret 20. Just 20% of your efforts produce 80% of your results. Bruce Lee didn't practice the whole fight. He used drill-down methods. He would isolate 1 inch of his punch, just the twist of the wrist, just the snap of the hip. Neurologically, this builds myelin, the save button for your nervous system. Every time you drill a specific tiny movement, you wrap your neural pathways in a fatty sheath that makes the signal travel faster. If your practice feels easy, you aren't building myelin. If it feels like your brain is sweating, it's working. Bruce Lee sought out the resistance. He called it desirable difficulty. He would train until his hands shook, then he would start the real practice. He was zip-filing mastery into his muscles. Hit subscribe before you forget that easy is the language of the average. We don't do easy here. Chapter 3. Mental Laundering. Most of you think physical practice is enough. Wrong. Bruce Lee was a master of mental practice. Before he ever stepped into a ring, he had already won the fight 1,000 times in his head. Studies show that mental imagery activates the exact same neural pathways as physical movement. When Lee visualized a strike, his brain was laundering the information. He wasn't just thinking, he was encoding. He used a 4-step ladder to independence. See 1, he watched the masters. Do 1, he immediately mimicked the move. Teach 1, he explained the mechanics to his students. Be 1, he internalized it until the master was no longer needed. He used memory laundering to make knowledge stick forever. He didn't just read philosophy, he drew it. He turned complex combat theories into one-sentence summaries. If he couldn't explain a move to a 5-year-old, he didn't own it. He also used chaos training. He didn't need a quiet gym to focus. He would train in the heat, in the rain, with people screaming around him. He retrained his brain to ignore distractions so he could find the void anywhere. The ending, the 4-hour rule. You sleep 8 hours and feel like a zombie. Lee knew it wasn't about quantity, it was about strategic recovery. He used the save button of deep sleep to move files from temporary RAM to the permanent hard drive. He didn't work hard in the way you do, mindlessly grinding until you're functionally drunk from exhaustion. He worked with intensity, then he recovered with intention. He used 20-minute strategic naps to reset his cognitive load. But here's the problem. You now know the system. You know about myelin, the secret 20, and decision fatigue. But if you're still checking your phone every 3 minutes, you're just an idiot with a map. Most people will hear this and do nothing. They'll go back to their motivation and their easy routines. That's why I made this video breaking down the CIA's secret learning method, the exact system used to memorize entire languages in weeks. If you want to stop being average and start being unfair, watch it next.